Hey guys, so everyone has been requesting a video which pits Morbius the Living Vampire against Blade. And guess what? That's what we're gonna do today. Now they're both Marvel properties, so I feel like there's gonna be some intertwined storylines between the two characters, so they don't live in separate worlds. They pretty much live in the same world, you know? Um let's talk about origin first. Now, when it comes to Morbius, he was actually born disfigured and with huge sensitivity to light because his he has like some kind of like blood disease that causes it. So he's not a vampire. It's just that his skin starts to boil when exposed to sunlight, you know? And that's pretty much it. However, he's extremely brilliant. In fact, he grows up to become a biochemist. So anything that deals with the biology and cures for diseases and stuff, that's what Morbius is um is passionate about, you know? So with that being said, let's talk about Blade. When it comes to Blade, actually, while he was still in his mother's womb, his mother was attacked by a vampire and, turned. And by the way, we're going to talk about the Blade of the comics, not the movie. Although maybe sometime here and there I might put in a little movie clip or something, but uh, just so you know, we're just talking about comic book Blade in comic book Morbius the Living Vampire. Anyway, so with Blade, um, so his mom dies while still pregnant, and basically, whatever transformation, whatever disease or weird supernatural stuff that got into his mother's bloodstream while she was dying, pretty much those, let's just call it vampire enzymes, went into Blade. So when his mother died from her bite, Blade was born. However, Blade pretty much has this weird hybrid DNA, which means that he's actually impervious to being turned into a vampire. Um, so in basically, he's not a vampire. He was still born human. It's just that he's immune to, he cannot be turned into a vampire um by other vampires, if that makes sense. He still has regular human strength, human mind. However, when his mother died, it kind of caused him to grow up hating vampires. So he joined a vampire hunting team and all of that. But we'll get into that just a little later. So that's just Blade's simple backstory, let's just say. Now, when it comes to Morbius, because he hated the way he looked, he decided to create a vaccine for himself of some sort. So uh he mixed a vampire bat DNA with electroshock therapy, and he created this. Well, with the vampire DNA, he created this cure for himself that he injected himself with, and then he did electrotherapy for him on himself, which I don't know how and why that would even help. But regardless, what it did was it basically turned him into a hideous monster. He started developing the facial structure, the teeth, and the hunger for blood, like the way a vampire bat would be like. So basically, he caused this upon himself. So now, not only is he sensitive to light, but he's extremely sensitive to light, to the point where he'll start to truly almost come into full on boils all over his body. However, he doesn't disintegrate or turn into ash under the sunlight. It's just even more painful and enhanced. That's all it is. He's still somewhat able to withstand light. Um, However, he does develop super strength, super hearing. He has extreme echolocation and extreme night vision. So he can see through the night. He could do all of those things. And surprisingly, he can also fly. But I believe he can fly in a way where he can glide through the air in the wind in a way. He can't just fly like a bat and just flap his arms around. Um, he doesn't have any vampire weaknesses, as in like he's not weak to Morbius is not weak to the cross or garlic or anything like that. Um, what Morbius did do during his career was when he encountered Spider-Man, he decided to use Spider-Man's radioactive DNA, and he created a vaccine for himself so that when he injects it on himself, it kind of staves off his hunger for blood. It kind of rejuvenates him a little bit and staves off his hunger, which is better than how he's going about without it, which is like he has to feed on fresh blood almost all the time. So that's something about Morbius. Now, when it comes to Blade, though, Blade, here's the thing. Like I said, he grew up being a vampire hunter of some sort. He's a master in swords and martial arts and stuff, but he finally encounters Morbius. And when he encounters Morbius, that is when his Blade's whole life changes, because Morbius was able to pretty much bite Blade, and of course Morbius thinks he's going to kill Blade, when in reality Blade doesn't die from the bite. Like, and just to let you know, almost every person that Morbius has bitten has died, with the exception of a handful of people. Now, when it comes to Blade, same thing. He was the exception. Blade got bitten, but instead of dying from the bite, like I told you, he is impervious to being turned into a vampire. But honestly, that's not the case when it comes to Morbius, because Morbius actually he turned himself into a vampire, so it's a little different. And Blade ends up turning into a full-blown vampire, minus the weaknesses of the crucifix and the garlic and all of that. And the thing about Blade, unlike Morbius, is Blade can go into the sun, so that's why he's called a daywalker. And Blade is awesome. However, his weakness, like Morbius, is blood. But the good thing about Blade is that he doesn't have to drink as much as Morbius, but at the same time, he still needs to stave off his own hunger so that he doesn't go crazy. So he's developed his own little serum that he ingests, or that he would inject in himself. And what that does is it gives him extra nourishment really fast, and it actually staves off his hunger for days. So like, Blade is good. Morbius still has to fight his hunger every time because he needs that to survive. He needs blood to survive, while Blade doesn't really need blood to survive as much. Now, both characters have come across each other many times. They've fought each other many times. Remember, Blade hates other vampires, so that's a big issue whenever he comes across the one who turned him. So, but the coolest thing about this is that both characters have actually been in the same groups together. Like, both of them have been on the Midnight Suns, which is a team of pretty much like monsters in a way that fight in darkness. So they fight like evil supernatural stuff. And so Morbius and Blade have teamed up on those occasions. They've Like, when it comes to Blade, he's been on Mighty Avengers and Avengers itself, and I don't think Morbius has ever been an Avenger. But they've both been on, I think, Night Stalkers, I think. So, unless, like, I think maybe Blade is Night Stalker, but I know for a fact that both of them have been on Legion of Vampires, so that's cool. Now, when I said that Blade has been Blade has been an Avenger, but Morbius has not. In a way, Morbius has worked for Shield, so in a way they could be on the same team, Morbius and Blade. So yeah, like, both characters are like, they're super intriguing. However, if you were to ask me which character is a true hero, I would say Blade, because Blade seeks to destroy evil, seeks to destroy what corrupts the innocent, while Morbius seems to be more selfish, like he's all about himself and curing himself, or like someone that he loves who's died or turned into a vampire. Morbius is I know this sounds crazy, but he's kind of self-centered, while Blade, he's more about revenge, which is a little bit of a self-centeredness because it's all about him finding a way to find peace with himself, or to find peace with what's happened to his mom and his family. But at the same time, Blade has actually joined more team ups to stop evil than Morbius. So for me, Blade is the clear winner out of this whole thing, but Morbius, let's just say, when it if the Avengers, the future Avengers, the mighty Avengers, whatever, if they ever need a brilliant mind to cure some kind of disease of some sort that's like destroying the earth, or destroying the world even, then I think Morbius would come in really, really handy. But for me, Blade is my guy. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Are you Team Morbius or Team Blade? All right, thank you guys for listening. Bye.